In order to compete in our digitally connected, globally oriented world, we must be able to attract, engage, and retain top talent. Not average, not good, but insanely great talent. Unfortunately, there's a problem with this. Many of the practices that we use to hire and lead staff are outdated. In fact, most of our human capital practices date back to the industrial age, where employees spent most of their days doing routine, tactical, and predictable work. We developed processes and practices for the factory floor and then replicated them in the office environment. These practices include waiting for the positions to become open and then scrambling to hire just based on skills and experience and looking only at a candidate pool who are actively looking for work at any given point in time. And then micromanaging our staff by directing what they do, how they do it, and when they do it. Now, there are two problems with this. First, insanely great people don't react well to this old school methodology. And second, it's really hard to manage this way. Over the last 30 years, technology and globalization have significantly changed the workplace paradigm. According to McKinsey, about 70% of the work that we do has been automated or outsourced. This has allowed our workforce to spend their time doing more innovative, strategic, and creative things. So what we expect from our staff is drastically different than it was even a few decades ago. And of course, what they expect from us has changed significantly too, with the millennials demanding a different relationship with the company and the manager that they work for. The old ways, they simply don't work anymore, and we're seeing the results of this in the stats. According to Gallup, the majority of our global workforce is disengaged and uninspired, which costs you and your organization money. Conventional wisdom says that it costs from 50 to 200% of an employee's annual salary to replace them. And our global disengagement epidemic can be costing your business up to a third of their annual salary in lost productivity for every member of your team who's not actively engaged and bringing their A games to work every single day. And hiring is going to get harder and harder. In case you haven't noticed, we're in the midst of a critical skills shortage. McKinsey says that we could face up to 85 million open jobs by 2020 due to a shift in workplace expectations and the aging workforce. If we want to win this war for talent and not only survive but thrive in these dynamic times, we must stop using industrial age practices to hire and manage social age staff. So, how do we update our human capital practices? By employing social age talent solutions. In the social age, we must take into account both the needs of the organization as well as the needs of the individual. Only in this sweet spot where the needs of both intersect can we have true motivation, engagement, productivity, and performance. Let me outline the model that I've used successfully over the last 7 years to help companies like yours increase performance, productivity, and motivation while decreasing costs and employee turnover. It all starts with hiring the right people, and hiring well starts with sourcing. Only about 5% of top talent are actively looking for work at any given point in time. So we must shift from reactively scrambling to fill open positions to proactively planning our future needs and then using multiple sourcing strategies to find those passive job seekers. We must also do a much better job of selecting our candidates. Most hiring managers have not been trained well on selecting top talent. Instead, they rely on gut feel to match a poorly designed job description with poorly written resumes. The linchpin to hiring well is a properly defined and articulated outcome-based job description that includes the purpose of the company and role to connect with the candidates' hearts and minds, followed by 3 to 5 outcomes that tell the candidates what they will be responsible for achieving and how that success will be measured. This replaces the tired and outdated laundry list of duties and responsibilities that are not only uninspiring, they are completely ineffective when it comes to hiring for and managing top performers. The final component of this type of job description is a list of competencies or innate abilities that an individual needs to successfully achieve the outcomes written above. Instead of hiring for skills and experience like we've done for centuries, let's look at the underlying competencies or strengths that enable people to be successful in their roles. After all, just because someone has 5 years of experience working as a receptionist or salesperson or engineer or operations manager doesn't mean that they were any good at it. This type of job description not only gives the hiring manager a very effective, objective set of criteria on which to hire, it gives the candidate much more clarity and certainty around what's required to be successful in the role and how that success is measured. The final step in the hiring process is onboarding. 22% of employee turnover occurs within the first 45 days of employment. The key here is to help your new hire become as productive as possible, as quickly as possible, and to help them immediately become part of the team. Once you hire the right person, performance management becomes infinitely easier, especially with a properly defined outcome-based job description. The outcomes become the objectives or KPIs by which you can manage to help your team members reach their goals. Then it's just a matter of giving them the autonomy that they need to use the competencies that you hired them for to accomplish those goals. Keep them on track with consistent, constructive, and immediate feedback, and help them stay focused on internal career opportunities instead of unwittingly letting them look externally when ready for their next move. This framework will help you as a manager effectively meet your own goals and the overall needs of the organization. But remember, I said that true employee performance, productivity, motivation, and engagement in today's social age can only be achieved when the needs of the organization intersect with the needs of the individual. By adding regular, meaningful conversations using our 5 focus conversations framework, this model does indeed accomplish both. And the result? Happy, motivated, and productive teams of talented individuals working together to achieve both the company and their own goals. The byproduct of which are managers who are much less stressed, have more time in their day, and are able to accomplish more and do more meaningful work. And of course, better bottom line for your organization.